Ben Mankiewicz, joined by Patty Jenkins. Patty, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So Patty's programmed this double feature tonight. We opened with The Fisher King from 1991. Up next, from a writer-director, Charlie Kaufman, in 2008, Synecdoche, New York. Why The Fisher King and Synecdoche, New York?
I am in love with New York City.
Yeah.
And so I have always found it to be incredibly romantic for something that both of these films really symbolize, which is the incredible grit at the same time as the magic is happening and beauty. Everything is happening all at once.
Right.
Both of these films are very profound reflections in their own way upon what is important and what is this journey all about.
Right, what am I after?
Yeah.
Right? What am I pursuing?
Yeah, and I liked the fact that they're both not necessarily films that a lot of people have seen, but I think are masterpieces. And so to share those with the world was something I was happy to do.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman leads the cast here. He is supported by Catherine Keener, who's amazing. Diane Wiest shows up toward the end of the movie. Samantha Morton, Emily Watson, Jennifer Jason Leigh is wonderful in the film. It's just so many great performers. Did I leave anybody out?
Hope Davis.
Hope Davis.
Yeah, it goes on and on.
So Hope Davis was going to be first.
Yeah.
So Hope Davis
No,
plays.
there's so many. And I feel like those people keep popping up in this movie.
Hope Davis plays and I hesitate to say things like this, plays this unbelievably sexy therapist.
Yeah.
And she's really good, really funny, really wonderful. So this movie, Synecdoche, was, opinion about it was divided at the time. It remains so today. It is not an easy movie to get inside. And I'm glad we're showing it with you here, because I think you can help people, right, to know what to look for. This is not an ordinary movie. It plays with time. It doesn't tell you when it's playing with time. Mm-hmm. You have to figure that out. You said at one point, like, you're not going to know when 75% of this movie is happening, or maybe you're only going to understand 75% of it. Mm-hmm. But that's okay, right? So what's your advice for people here as they take this in?
Actually, what amazes me about this film is I actually think it is incredibly complex and actually perfect. Like, the further you dig into it, the complexity and the details of what it's trying to say end up being so rock solid. Like, as a screenwriter myself, I so admire, the more I look at it, the more I say, the structure of this is incredible.
I don't think we'll be spoiling it so what do you think it's about? This isn't a spoiler.
It's about what is this life about?
What is this life about?
It's about the fact that we're all dying. Yeah. It's about the fact that at some point you realize that you're going to wear so many hats in this world. And I really relate with this, having moved around. I have moments every once in a while where I wake up in the morning and I have to remember who I am now, because I've been so many things. I've been a loser. I've been a winner. I've been a child. I've been a mother. I've been a successful director. I've been a not successful. I've been a struggling person I've been a waitress. You have
to say I've been a punk rocker.
And I've been a punk rocker. But my identity has been, people have looked at me and seen a completely different person many times. Yeah. And so it won't spoil anything. Part of the interesting thing that is happening here is that everyone is everyone in the film, ultimately.
The actress playing me is ready to start today.
That's great. That's all we need around here is 2 Hazels.
Okay, I'll take that as my cue.
The confusion is part of it, but it's okay if you don't understand it, that part of it. Or you're left wondering, what's this? What era is it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Figuring it out doesn't matter. Just pay attention to sort of what they're talking about and what they're feeling, right?
It doesn't matter when a great artist does an incredible piece of work and you walk around in the museum, whether you understand what he was doing or not. If it worked, and I would challenge anybody to look hard enough to see that it did work, then it doesn't matter if you get to a place where you understand exactly why it ends up working or not. That's part of the beauty of this film, is like, I don't understand the whole thing. I understand a lot more than I did the first time I watched it, each time I watch it. But I'm not all the way there. I just see a confident hand, and I know that he does. And it worked. It lands.
Charlie Kaufman has had a great deal of success writing films. He wrote and directed this. He had his vision.
Nobody could give this guy notes.
Yeah, what would the note be? Yeah. I mean, somebody might have said, "Can you put the year in each time?"
Yeah.
For what, and he would have said, "No." Yeah, you're missing the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although there's a whole interesting time thing that maybe we'll wait. But I will say to the audience about to see this, pay attention to time, because he pulls off some incredible tricks of passage of time, particularly through the first quarter of the movie, but really through the whole movie.
All right. Well, we'll talk about all that after we see it. Here it is, with really a sensational cast, anchored by one of Philip Seymour Hoffman's greatest performances, and I say that realizing that he gave a series of great performances, written and directed by Charlie Kaufman. This is Synecdoche, New York. Back with director Patty Jenkins, who programmed tonight's double feature. Patty, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You mentioned before we played Synecdoche, New York, that for viewers to take note of the way that Charlie Kaufman, who wrote and directed the film, plays with time or shows the passage of time. What were you referring to?
Well, so when you think about the movie, it ultimately is a lifetime. I mean, it starts from, when he's whatever he was in his 30s when the movie was made, all the way up until really his death.
Right.
And so what's incredible is that he starts manipulating time passage from the very beginning in these incredibly subtle ways, starting with, they say the date when he's waking up. They say that it's a lovely fall. Mm-hmm. And then when he goes into the kitchen and then he opens the milk, but the date on there, mm-hmm. it's now expired. It plays as a continuous scene. He goes into the bathroom, he gets hit on the head.
Right.
And then he ends up saying, at the hospital, it's Christmas.
Right. Almost a signal that Charlie Kaufman is giving to the audience that, like, time's going to move rapidly here. So then when he stops giving you signals for it, you just have to accept that it's happening.
And
obviously you can tell a little bit, you start to be able to tell by, like, wait, he looks different.
Yeah.
He looks older, right?
Yeah.
But that takes a bit to even...
Takes a bit to get used to. And by the way, the first act of it really plays like a much more straightforward film, which I appreciate, because I think it walks you into what's actually happening. And then it starts to get real wild in the middle. What I love about it as an artist is the profundity of the statement. So in that opening scene, they don't change clothing, they don't change anything, right? But does it matter?
Right.
Does it matter? Does it matter if it's this morning or that morning and the years are flying by?
Right. The point is they're all the same for these people. Right?
Exactly.
Nothing is getting better for them. They are stuck. There's no question. These are two people who are stuck.
Yeah. And throughout the movie, does it really matter whether it happened? You know, this is another thing, like when he finally gets to his daughter and she says that when you left me for your gay lover, now he's not had a gay lover up until this point, but from that moment forward going in the film, he now has a gay lover potentially standing behind him. And what I love is, does it matter?
Right. Yeah.
You're guilty. You let her down somehow. Who cares about the semantics? Now, this expands to the theme of the whole film. Does it matter? Does it matter if it's me or if it's that guy who looks just like me in warehouse A, warehouse B, warehouse C? Like, does it matter? We're all of these things, and what is it all about?
The play is not going to be a success if it ever opens. The play is getting, my note to him would be, the play's getting a little unwieldy.
Yeah.
And I guess that has to be part of it too. He's an artist, right? He's a creator that I took from that is it ever done? Right?
Yeah.
Which I'm imagining now in Charlie Kaufman's life, that's a thing. Like when do you, as I heard from a number of writers who say, like, at some point somebody tells you, or something in your head tells you, okay, pencils down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's very much the story, is that, he's doing this play. What I love is that ultimately the play is life. Who we are to each other is an image in your head of who that person is. And then when somebody else has a different image of you, now there's another person. Like, who we actually are and what we are to other people becomes these symbols that start floating around. And I think he's very much playing with that in all of this multiple variations of people. There's who he is to the daughter and who he is to the disc. And so it's almost like, quantum physics is being acknowledged here in the fact that there's so many realities going on to different people's perspectives.
Tell me about his last name in the movie.
Cotard syndrome. So his last name is Cotard. Cotard syndrome is actually a syndrome where you don't know if you exist or not. And it also can be that you think you're losing limbs, or you're not sure that other people can see you. And so again, it's where the movie, every time you dig in, you see how rock solid it is as a piece of work. It's very specifically referencing a huge amount of things.
I badly want you to come back often on TCM and point out where I'm wrong about other movies and why. I enjoyed this very much. Patty Jenkins, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. So good to be here.
Patty's done for the night, but the movies, of course, continue on TCM. And as always, as you well know, they are uncut and commercial free.
Next on TCM, Follow Me Quietly. Then Murder, She Said. and later Murder at the Gallop. TCM's got a killer lineup tonight.